Traditional two-door sports cars are almost an extinct species, particularly for smaller coupes with shorter wheelbases. The BMW 2 Series, since its introduction to the lineup last decade, has given enthusiasts a relatively affordable option that focuses on the driver rather than fancy aesthetics. It was a back-to-the-basics approach in the modern era, which most BMW loyalists were grateful for, as the German manufacturer was losing its edge, and some even questioned whether it was still the ultimate driving machine. Now for 2022, we have a new generation that brings a refreshed road presence, better technology, and new mechanical components that will surely make it competitive when compared to the Audi S3 and Mercedes-Benz CLA 45 AMG, while at the same time possibly being a better option than the new 4 Series. So here are 5 reasons why you should buy a 2022 BMW M240i. When you're shopping for a small sports car, you often expect to not receive the best engine that the manufacturer has to offer, where you get a decent amount of performance, but you know that just outside your budget, there's something better. BMW has for the most part treated their loyal supporters well, with vehicles that can outclass the competition. And the 2022 BMW M240i is no exception. Under the hood, you're going to have BMW's B58 inline 6-cylinder engine that puts out 382 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. And making accelerations exhilarating is the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. While not necessarily a direct competitor, but has always been put head-to-head with the M240i, the Audi S3's turbocharged 4-cylinder engine is nothing to overlook, and in fact, it is a great performing sports sedan. However, shoppers and enthusiasts are going to find that sacrificing the 2 extra doors for a more capable powertrain is worth it. Obviously, many of the closest rivals have moved on to other markets, and that gives the M240i an advantage over some sports sedans. What buyers can look forward to is a coupe that's quick to respond, with a 0 to 60 time of just over 4 seconds. And as you roll through the gears, you'll get a kickback in your seat thanks to the M240i not receiving the mild hybrid system. From a power perspective, there's still a sense of rawness despite some extensive mechanical changes that we'll get into later on. And unlike the F22, the vocal exhaust note will add to your excitement during your spirited drives. Always the center of criticism when talking about the BMW 2 Series was the interior. And while it may not have been on par with other vehicles in the lineup due to the cheaper materials, the quality and layout was similar to rivals such as the Audi S3 and Mercedes-Benz CLA 45 AMG. However, for 2022, the complaints can be kept to a minimum, unless you don't like technology, as the 2 Series now receives a full digital gauge cluster, which is optional. And you now have BMW's iDrive 7 system that'll be quicker to respond and provide dual functionality, as you can use a touchscreen or when you're on the move, a road dial, touchpad, and quick access buttons to help keep your eyes on the road ahead. Not as noticeable is the added width of the cabin, giving you slightly more shoulder room compared to last generation. But it's worth mentioning that the lower roofline will create the perception of being in a cocoon. In terms of interior quality, obviously a leather-stitched dashboard or even soft-touch materials aren't going to be present on a 2 Series. But the Sensitech sport seats in our model offered a good amount of comfort. And if you so desire, you can upgrade to Vernasca leather. When it comes to road noise, the M240i is very well insulated to isolate you from the outside world as you cruise on back roads. While we're not suggesting that the 2 Series can be considered a true luxury car now, BMW did make improvements to the driving environment over what you experienced last generation. The cost of a new sports car not named the Mazda Miata or Toyota GT86 is quickly becoming out of reach for most enthusiasts. Where the BMW M240i bucks this trend is with a base price that's more than reasonable. The model we recently featured was just over 50 grand, but without optional features, it comes in at $48,550, undercutting the Toyota Supra and being competitive with the 2022 Audi S3, which traditionally has always been a rival to the 2 Series. Among other two-doors that's similarly sized, there's just not a lot of competition out there. You can always upgrade to the M440i and other coupes in that segment, but buyer beware, you'll be paying almost $10,000 more for a bigger car that also has the same engine if you decide to stick with BMW. Pricing alone can play a huge role in your decision, but in this case, being frugal doesn't cost you a fun driving experience. Getting many buyers excited for the G42 M240i is the fact that it's now built on BMW's cluster architecture platform, which underpins almost every car in the lineup excluding the 2 Series Grand Coupe, X1 and X2. This transition to a more refined and flexible chassis has transformed this two-door coupe into being less rigid and unpolished, to now resembling the M340i and M440i. The driving characteristics is reflective of the current BMW lineup, where steering input is smoother and more fluid, but also the suspension handles the imperfections and bumps in the road way better. Some may say when they get behind the wheel that the second generation has lost some of its rawness, and that's a fair assessment. Unlike with the F22, the M240i can now be seen as a smaller 4 Series. And take that as you will, but the dynamics are now suitable for a wide range of buyers searching for a fun car that they can throw around in corners, but not get abused when traveling down poorly treated city streets. The G42 can now be daily driven depending on the climate of where you live, and with the adaptive M suspension, you can find the right settings that complement your driving style. As mentioned earlier, the new interior is part of the trickle-down effect thanks to the new underpinnings. And as a whole, what you have here with the 2022 BMW M240i is a well-rounded sports coupe that punches above its weight, where it's providing an overall package that could rival the Toyota Supra or even a base Porsche Cayman. At the moment, we can only speculate what the new M2 is going to be like. But if the M240i is any indication of what's to come next year, then there is no question that we'll continue to look at the 2 Series as being the best car in the lineup. Arguably, it's the one car that's purely for the enthusiasts, despite the lack of a manual transmission for this generation. But thanks to the shorter wheelbase, you feel so connected to this coupe more so than the M440i. And while the suspension is softer, you don't really lose a sense of being one with the car as you carve your way through back roads. Even better, when you factor in the performance, the B58 inline 6 with the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission and the modern interior, what you're receiving for the price is certainly unrivaled. Sure, happy customers of the F22 and F82 may find aspects they don't enjoy. But for 2022, your choices are limited in this market, where a Porsche Cayman S can cost you almost $22,000 more than the M240i. Or if you prefer staying around $60,000, there's always the Toyota Supra, which ironically has the same powertrain and transmission. At the end of the day, BMW didn't tarnish the 2 Series legacy. In fact, enthusiasts may find that the G42 is an overall improvement. And while some individuals may focus on the exterior design, it's the heart and soul of this two-door coupe that still stays true to its heritage. We hope you enjoyed this quick buyer's guide for the 2022 BMW M240i. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And if you're interested in buying an M240i or any other BMW model, make sure to check out our full reviews to help you find your next vehicle. And thanks for watching.